previous video, I filmed a 10 things I wish someone would have told me before I became a mom. And one of the topics that I mentioned there was resentment towards your partner. And I got a lot of messages on Instagram about that and saying, oh my God, I feel this way. And I wanted to talk about it and bring my husband in because I don't want you guys to think I'm just talking shit behind his back. Like, this is something that we have talked about too, and I'm very open about feeling like this.
It's also something too, like, as the husband, as the man, it's not something that we're necessarily aware of. It's not something that's at the top of our head. So if you guys don't mention it, if she didn't mention it, I would have no idea. I would just carry on like nothing else going on. Meanwhile, she's in the corner like just like waiting for me to notice. It's like, yo, you gotta
like, just sighing.
Yeah, you gotta say something. Always make sure you speak up, make your feelings, make your emotions heard. That way we have something to work off of. Without that, I mean, we're just gonna carry on like everything is fine. That's not how men think.
Yeah. So like how I came about, like how I thought about this thing is that we have a Fit Mama Village where I talk to a bunch of our clients. We have group calls, and there was this one call where I asked the woman in our village, I asked them, who in here resent their partner? And
everybody
raised their hand, and I was like, you know what, you're not alone because I felt this way too.
Fellas, they be scheming. They don't even tell us. Every single woman in the room raised their hand, and I bet 95% of them didn't mention it to their husbands at all. So.
No, I told them communication is key, that they need to voice out,
For
you
sure.
know, if they're feeling things. But, so for me, the resentment comes in when I feel like I'm doing everything in the house. And I would feel like he's not doing anything, and it just irks me. And honestly, this started when right when I gave birth to Lil, because listen, I was like waking every 2 hours to feed my son.
Slumped.
And he was just there.
All sheets.
Sleeping, snoring, and I'm just like, wow.
But that's not my fault though, right?
I know it's not your fault.
Good at sleeping. Right?
But it's just like, the mom, I was telling the women in our group, I'm like, the mom always have to sacrifice their time. They have to bend their time in order to make everybody's schedule work, cook, clean, do the dishes, do the laundry. It's like a lot of mental load, and that's why the resentment comes in, because we want our husband to just, you know, take charge and notice that, okay, we're struggling and that we need help. But I know now that men can't read minds.
Whoa! You thought this whole time we could just psychic power. She needs me. Like I'm in the gym. I think she needs me.
But wouldn't that be nice?
Let me tell you from the men's point of view, right? So at the same time, we were starting a business, right?
Okay.
We were starting a business, and I was focused on the business and building the business. So my only thoughts running through my head was that. And typically guys that are working hard, that's where the thoughts go, right? So if you can't communicate and let us know that something's an issue, then we're just gonna keep carrying on and thinking about the things that we're thinking about. So until you shifted and was like, yo, I need help with this, and this. Oh, okay, let me help you with that.
See, that's one thing that I had to learn for myself, because I do not like to ask. It is one thing that...
Closed mouths don't get fed, period. And that's the truth.
I don't like to ask. It's just so, I feel, ladies, doesn't it take a lot of energy to ask for something?
Whether it takes energy, whether it doesn't take energy, if you want something done, then you need to speak up and ask, because you can't assume that the other person is thinking the same exact way as you. For instance, I didn't grow up in a household where everything was clean all the time, where all the dishes were always washed, the clothes were always put away. That's not how I grew up. But I'm also accustomed to surviving through that and not thinking about those things all the time. Whereas if there's a sock on the floor, like she can't do, like, the day is canceled until that sock gets picked up. So for me, it's just like, okay, the sock will get picked up when it gets picked up, but for her, it's like, that sock needs to be picked up right now, and I'm not gonna get him to pick it up. I want him to pick it up. And that's the way it goes.
Listen, so I'm just gonna share with you guys like a little bit about my upbringing. So I was raised by my parents, my grandparents, and it's just initiative. I don't know how my mom explained it, but it's just, if there's a dish, like for example, there's dishes, you just go ahead and wash it without anybody telling you to wash the dishes. If you see the house messy, you have to take initiative in cleaning the house without telling you to do anything, because when we were kids, we got in trouble if my parents came home and the house was not clean.
Sure. And I'm sure your parents, right? Same situation, right? Now, my household where I was raised is a divorced household, and I lived primarily with my dad, and we got evicted all the time, we moved out all the time, we never unpacked our house, so I wasn't used to a situation where, okay, things are put away, everything's clean. Like, I'm used to just, I slept out a lot, so I'm not used to that. So it's not fair to assume that we were brought up the same way. So the same habits that you might have might not be the same habits that the man might have. And if they do, then cool. But I'm sure there's other issues too. It's not just putting away dishes or putting away clothes. I'm sure it's, carrying the baby, holding the baby while she goes and does this thing or that thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think the key is just communication and teamwork.